I can name a number of different things that you could do to break down this system that doesn't involve a gun. It doesn't involve a military. It doesn't involve anything.
And what I don't understand, sis, is this panel was brought together under a positive umbrella. And while your sister Zaza was speaking, you're rolling your eyes and shaking your head. Our men are inferior.
Okay, hold on. What isn't true?
So why do you date brothers then?
Cynthia, solutions.
I think one of the primary solutions is honesty and truth. And I think it's interesting that you have people who are, if you're gonna say that you're a truth teller, you wouldn't say that 50 people are the collective when we have millions of Black people in this country. I don't really understand that, but
you don't have to be so low vibration. You don't have to be so negative. Come with let's end on a positive note.
The truth is what it is. It doesn't have to be positive just because you want it to be positive. The situation that we are in is very negative. Being in a system of white supremacy is very negative. So I don't know, how am I going to talk positively? How am I going to talk positively about being?
I don't have no boots on my neck.
So that doesn't, well, you don't have a physical, literal boot on your neck, but as a Black woman, you can't go navigate in society doing whatever you want to while you're in a system of white supremacy.
What can't I do? I don't live a life of limitations. And what I don't understand, sis, is this panel was brought together under a positive umbrella. And while your sister Zaza was speaking, you're rolling your eyes and shaking your head. And you can't get over that one point of you saying...
The reason I'm rolling my eyes because people are making incorrect statements like 50 is a collective. That's not the collective. That's not what that means. And so,
right, but why not ingest what the system is saying? You can't listen and also be defensive.
Ladies.
Here's the thing.
All right, wait. Everybody, wait.
Like that. It's just not true. You're not even accounting psychological warfare. Like our men are inferior.
Okay, hold on. What isn't true?
So why do you date brothers then?
Excellent. Thank you, Akua. Zaza, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm also going to ask you to check your cell phone because I just sent you a message about something that I'd like you to check and give me your opinion on.
I think we as a people are really off course when it comes to what the root of freedom actually is. I think we think destroying racism, white supremacy is the root of freedom. Some of us think it's finances, and there's validity in all of that, but the real root to freedom is love. Love can inspire people to their highest heights, and lack of love destroys people every single day. I know I'm in a different space because I'm a lot more spiritual based right now. My focus is God consciousness. So I approach things from a different perspective because I understand that this game is an energy game. It's not a money game. It's not a race game. It's not a systematic per se game as we see things from this linear perspective. It's an energy game, meaning if you have an abundant mindset, if you have an optimistic mindset, like Boyce talked about, if you have a rooted nature in love, if you have positive energy, if you give people the benefit of doubt opposed to always having low expectations, your world changes around you. You attract a different type of man. You attract a different type of people. You attract a different type of energy. The same way if you are pessimistic, if you are constantly negative, if you always think the worst of people, if you have low expectations for the people that come in and out of your life, guess what? That's what you're going to attract. So I don't use language like subjugated or slave. You'll never hear me call myself subjugated. You'll never hear me refer to myself as a slave because guess what? I self-lord and master. I recognize the power of words. See, people listening to this conversation can be uplifted and inspired, right? And feel like they can leave and try to have a beneficial conversation with another brother or sister, internalize the best of what we had to give, or they can leave this conversation with more anger and frustration towards Black women, more anger and frustration towards Black men. My role is to edify. So when we say there's no male leadership, that's not true. A Black man in his household, taking care of his children, taking care of his family, is a natural leader. If we have a community full of Black men who are doing just that, that is a collective. If I say I have 50 Black men on my phone that I can reach out to right now that are all standing on their square, guess what? That's a community. That's a collective. Now, Sister Cynthia used the word coddling. I've developed a reputation for being a Black feminist, for being anti-Black man, for hating Black men. So anybody who really knows me knows that I do not coddle Black men. But what I do is keep it real. And what I am is balanced. We, as women in particular, because we have the natural ability to give birth to both male and female. I have a son. So there's absolutely no way that I can come in this conversation and spew any anti-male sentiment, understanding that through my words and through my being, I am raising a child that is going to eventually become a man. So for me, like I said before, the lack of spiritual and moral understanding as a people, we think it's boots on the ground. We think it's sitting in, you know what I mean, a Waffle House, and I'm just saying this as an example. We think that's the main focus to destroying racism, white supremacy. No, the main focus to destroying anything that is contrary to our well-being is being well. That means being centered around love, being centered around positive energy, and sometimes loving our men who have not yet found a way to reciprocate that energy. That doesn't mean accept all of the stragglers on the street, but it does mean as women, we have a different role, a different responsibility as far as healing both male and female. We have a different responsibility than our men. We can say our men have to take care of the finances. They need to do security. They need to handle all of the linear things in our communities. Okay, bet. I'm totally with that. What is our role as women? Where is the empathetic, compassionate, loving, all of those things that make us powerful as women? How do we take those power sources and turn that around and change the course, the trajectory in our communities? For me, that's what it is. Self-accountability and starting with yourself and reflecting the love and the light that you want to see in our communities. That's it for me.
Okay, look, I've muted everybody. I don't like to do this. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say one more time. And I understand what the other sister's saying. Sin, we're looking at solutions right now, and obviously solutions have to be positive. Sometimes solutions are negative, but sometimes it's the truth. But right now, Sin, you're muted right now. Everyone's muted. Okay, everyone's muted. Sin.
But I
know, Cynthia, I know you didn't. I know, and everyone's gonna let you say your piece. Zaza, I hope that because I think that you're gonna want to have this conversation, and I send you the message, say if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with Cynthia on the platform afterwards, and you two can discuss your differences in regards to different beliefs and doctrine and whatnot. Hopefully you agree to that, because I'm pretty sure everyone would like to see that, and that would be a nice way to end it off. But right now, Sin, solutions. Continue as you were saying, Cynthia.
So if we cannot be honest about our current condition, whether it's the current condition of our relationships, the current condition of our mentality, or the current condition of the environment that we live in, you cannot have a solution. Regardless to whether you like the way it's delivered to you or not, we have to be honest about the situation that we are in. Yes, there is a divide between Black men and Black women. And yes, we can attribute 99% of that divide to the system of white supremacy. But the reality of it is if we're not addressing these things appropriately, if we're lying to ourselves, if we're cowering away from it simply because we just don't want to hear it or we don't like the person that's saying it, that doesn't provide a solution. So what we need to do is, yes, Black women should take accountability for what they do. Black men should also take accountability for what they do. We need a standard of manhood to be established and enforced in the community, because women cannot effectively raise their children or contribute to the raising of effective male or effective females in their community if they don't have a blueprint from which to go by. And we don't have that. We have a bunch of damaged people who have generational issues, whether it be a woman who had an absentee father or a man who had an ineffective mother. You have a community full of people suffering from that, but many of them who don't even want to deal with what it takes to actually unpack all of it and see where it came from, because there's an origin to everything. I'm simply trying to go to the origin, and that's what I think needs to be done. But I think that there's too many people who let their emotions get in the way of that. We need to go back to the origins of the rift in order to deal with it, because you're not going to solve any problem if you don't go to the origin of it. So we can say Black women are not doing this, we can say Black men are not doing this, but the reality of it is all of that is just going to be arguing back and forth unless we go to the root cause of the problem. You can acknowledge that you have a problem, but unless you pick that problem apart, you're not going to get to the solution. So that is how we can get to the solution, with accountability, honesty, and acknowledging the system and the condition that we're in, and acknowledging the origins of why we have this disruptive, dysfunctional dynamic between Black men and women to begin with. It seems like nobody wants to do that, though. And when we do it, we're called bitter, and we're called angry, and we're called of low vibration, when in reality, I'm simply trying to go somewhere that no one wants to venture to, and that's to the root cause of the problem.
Well, I love everybody's solution. I agree with everybody's solution. We could all make it work somehow. My solution would be that we got to get back to those who laid down the foundation before us. We are getting off track with the teachers that was here before us, like Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Naeem Makbar, Dr. Amos Wilson. We don't look to them no more for the knowledge and for the information. Otherwise, we wouldn't be so damn confused on whether we are Aborigine or whether we are African or whether we are Hebrews or Muslims. See, we went away from those people. We went away from our real teachers and our real grandmaster teachers. So my solution to the people, family, is that we got to get back to the Francis Cress Welsing, to the Dr. Naeem Makbar, to the Dr. Ben, to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because the truth of the matter is, what greater solution can any of us tell you than they already done told you already? They already done laid down the solutions. And we are still here today trying to come up with our own solutions. We ain't even tried theirs. You see? And that's the best solution that we could get. We got to get back into these right here. A blueprint for Black power. A moral, political, economic imperative for the 21st century. We got to go back into the real solutions, man. And until we try that, and then we can say, all right, well, at least we tried it. But we didn't. We ain't tried the solution of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he kept saying, build for self, build your schools, build your own hospitals. We didn't do it. We profess it, we talk it, but we don't never do it. You see what I'm saying? So my solution to my people is to get back to the real teachers. And why do I say the real teachers? Because we don't even quote them. We don't even quote Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. We listening to these Google teachers now. We got to go back to the real grandmasters. That's all.